I think we're at a point in the industry where everyone, vendors and OEMs in particular, leasing companies in particular, and dealers alike, are finally at that point where, for the most part, print is certainly alive and well, but everybody is very, very upfront about whether you're a dealer or an OEM or a leasing company. We're going out there stealing share. Everyone's aware, and I think on the same page, that the printing of documents, the 8.5 by 11 document, as I like to deem it, is on the decline. So it's about stealing share. What do you think, that being an accepted trend, if you will, what do you think some of the hesitancies are as far as dealers go? As sort of a follow-up to the last question I asked you about what you feel that dealers should be doing more of, or the industry should be doing more of, that maybe they're not.
Well, I think, if you look at the industry as a large, all those customers, I look at A4, okay? So we all know A4 is growing, but so many dealers don't look at capturing all that print within their existing customers. And, if whatever you want to say about other competitors or things like that, right? HP is a multi-billion-dollar company with A4 printers. We all have to pause and go, how'd they get there, right? How'd they get into my customer? And I think dealers need to spend more time evaluating that, because there's two answers in that question. One is, how do I pull back that A4 print? That's a print job that could have went to my A3 machine and is on someone else's desk and is getting a print job that I should have gotten. That's one. But two is, who put it there, right? That is a new competition that I don't think dealers are paying enough attention to. Those are new competitors that it's not the A3 dealer that you always competed with for the last 15, 20, 30 years. There are other IT vendors now coming into the space very aggressively. And so I think that's an area where dealers can really focus on pulling that print under their management. And I see a lot of big mega dealers really focused on that. And they really understand how to grab all print under the roof, under their control. That's something I would advise all dealers, is try to understand that, because even though the mega dealer is doing it, a small dealer can do that too. And so you really need to think about, one, where those other printers come from and how do I get that business? And then two, how do I compete with the person who put it there, right? What else are they bringing into that account that maybe I should be offering? Because even if you pull back the print, if that IT reseller typically is in that account, they're always ready to come right back in for it, and they're selling other technology you could be selling. So I think that would be two pieces of advice that I think dealers really need to be looking out for.
What would you say to that on or about $5 million dealer? There's slight differences of opinion amongst OEM leaders in terms of at what point a dealership becomes sustainable, but let's take on or about 5 million. Would you say that dealer tends to be a little bit more reticent when it comes to diversification? And as a follow, if so or if not, what advice or perspective would you share with that dealer if that dealer's goal is to truly become or ensure that their business is a sustainable one?
So I would agree. Dealers of that size typically are more reticent to take on a new technology, a new process, a new whatever, right? There's investment sometimes required. It's new training, all things that take away resources, right? So that's the bad part. I think what people also got to remember is a $5 million dealer, you're there, right? So you're doing something right. And typically that is a smaller dealership, which means less line of communication, right? The owner is more involved in the business. The customers typically know the owner. So you have a different type of leverage than a larger dealer, right? So maybe take on technologies and products that don't require advanced training, that don't require a whole new sales force, and say, just go to your existing customers who you personally know. That is a difference, right? You get to a $50 million dealership, you're not knowing every single customer. You can't. But at a $5 million dealership, you can. Usually they're members of your community. So you can be selling them laptops, you can be selling them displays, you can be selling them water systems, other technologies that they would use that's an easier sell for you. Why? Because your employees and your salespeople all know how to use them already. It's not learning anything new. So I think there's smaller steps. They sometimes hear what maybe the big people are doing and say, oh, I got to get into, say, voice over IP. Probably not going to be your most successful venture. But getting into technologies that you use every day and your customers use every day, that's an easier transition. And again, keeps your revenue up, keeps your support and sustainability of your business up. So I think that would be something that too often we look for the negatives, right? Oh, I'm too small. But what you miss is the positive. You have direct contact with the customers. You know your customers probably better than a larger dealer who has to manage more of a process. So I think those are areas to look for your advantage and then leverage it. So that's what I would say to a smaller dealer is get into the areas that your people already use and know and your customers already are utilizing. Make yourself the reseller.